My name is Matthew Roy. I'm from Emmaus Baptist Academy, and I'll be performing part of Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God by Jonathan Edwards. Their foot shall slide in due time. Deuteronomy 32:35. The observation from the words that I would now insist upon is this: there is nothing that keeps wicked men at any moment out of hell but the mere pleasure of God. By the mere pleasure of God, I mean His sovereign pleasure, His arbitrary will, restrained by no obligation, hindered by no manner of difficulty, any more than if God's will had, in the least degree, or in any respect whatsoever, any hand in the preservation of wicked men one moment. There is no want of power in God to cast wicked men into hell. Men's hands cannot be strong when God rises up. The strongest have no power to resist Him, nor can any deliver out of His hand. He is not only able to cast wicked men into hell, but He can most easily do it. They deserve to be cast into hell, so that divine justice never stands in the way. It makes no objection against God's using His power at any moment to destroy them. Yea, on the contrary, justice calls aloud for an infinite punishment of their sins. They are already under sentence of condemnation to hell. They do not only justly deserve to be cast down thither, but the sentence of the law of God, that eternal and immutable rule of righteousness that God has fixed between Him and mankind, is gone out against them, and stands against them so that they are bound already over to hell. They are now the objects of that very same anger and wrath of God that is expressed in the torments of hell. And the reason they do not go down to hell at each moment is not because God, in whose power they are, is not then very angry with them, as He is with great numbers that are now on this earth. Yea, God is a great deal more angry with great numbers that are now on this earth, yea, doubtless with many that are now in this congregation, who it may be are at ease, than He is with many of those that are now in the flames of hell. All wicked men's pains and contrivance which they use to escape hell, while they continue to reject Christ, and so remain wicked men, do not secure them from hell one moment. They are now so that thus it is, natural men are held in the hand of God, over the pit of hell. They have deserved the fire pit and are already sentenced to it. And God is dreadfully provoked. His anger is as great towards them as to those that are actually suffering the executions of the fiercest of His wrath in hell. And they have done nothing in the least to appease or abate that anger. Neither is God bound by any promise to hold them up. The devil is waiting for them. Hell is gaping for them. The flames gather and flash about them, and would fain lay hold on them and swallow them up. The fire, pent up in their own hearts, is struggling to break out. They have no interest in any mediator. There are no means within reach that can be of any security to them. In short, they have no refuge, nothing to take hold of. All that preserves them every moment is the mere arbitrary will and uncovenanted, unobliged forbearance of an incensed God. The use of this awful subject may be for awakening unconverted persons in this congregation. This that you heard is the case of all those that are out of Christ. That world of misery, that lake of burning brimstone is extended broad unto you. There is the dreadful flames of the glowing wrath of God, and there is hell's wide gaping mouth open, and you have nothing to stand upon, nor anything to take hold of. There is nothing between you and hell but the air. It is only the mere power and pleasure of God that keeps you this moment from being swallowed up. The bow of God's wrath is bent, and the arrow made ready on the string. And justice bends the arrow at your heart and strains the bow. And it is only the mere pleasure of God, and that of an angry God, without any promise or obligation at all, that keeps the arrow one moment from being made drunk with your blood. Thus, all you that have never passed through a great change of heart, by the mighty power of the Spirit of God upon your souls, all you that were never born again, and made new creatures, and raised from being dead in sin to a state of new, and before altogether unexperienced life and light, are in the hands of an angry God. However you may have reformed your life in many things, and may have had religious affections, and may keep up a form of religion in your families and in your closets and in the house of God, it is nothing but His mere pleasure that keeps you this moment from being swallowed up in everlasting destruction. However unconvinced you may now be of the truth of what you hear, by and by you will be fully convinced of it. Those that have gone from being in like circumstance with you see that it was so with them. For destruction came suddenly upon most of them, while they expected nothing of it, and while they were saying peace and safety. Now they see that upon those things which they depended for peace And safety? Nothing but thin air and empty shadows. You need to consider yourselves and awake thoroughly out of the sleep. You cannot bear the wrath of the infinite God. Therefore, let everyone that is out of Christ escape from the wrath to come. The wrath of Almighty God is undoubtedly hanging over a great part of this congregation. Let everyone fly out of Sodom. Haste! Escape for your lives. Look not behind you. Escape to the mountains, lest you be consumed. Thank you.